Welcome to the Whiskey Roundtable. We are your hosts,
Big J,
Karen Allen Keller,
Doug Dunbar, and tonight we have our special guest, Mark Nicastro, is our new sponsor with Rawhide Firearms. Boy, I messed that up.
That's
good,
all right.
But anyway, our new guest, and he is our new sponsor.
One of our new sponsors,
and,
absolutely.
And let me throw out his little, what do you call that? Logo. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so we're displaying your logo right now.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it.
Firearms.
Yeah, so
thanks for coming.
Yeah.
No, thanks for having me, guys. I love it. This is so great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad you came out.
Tell us a little bit about Rawhide Firearms.
So, Rawhide Firearms, I'm co-owner with Rich Kohler. We've been friends since college. We've been just into doing shooting for self-defense, hunting, you name it, clay pigeons, all that stuff. And we kind of got tired of paying retail. So we said, let's start our own business, help our friends out. So a couple of years ago, we got together, drew up a business plan, and we kind of fooled around with the name for a little bit. And how did we come up with Rawhide? So we wound up, and I'll tell you a little story background about the company. So Rawhide was the Secret Service code name for Ronald Reagan. And we happen to like Ronald Reagan. We thought he was a great president.
Sure.
And so we picked on that. He was the 40th president, so Rawhide 40. And we kind of followed that theme along. So everything in our logo is something from Ronald Reagan. Now,
awesome.
The crossed rifles for the, firearms aspect of it, the cowboy hat, all that is Ronald Reagan. And we kind of modeled it after that. So it says, established 1980, the year that he was elected president, and then reestablished or renewed 2018 when we started the company.
I wondered what that was
cool.
all about.
Very
the
nice.
renewed.
Very nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So while you were talking,
Fantastic.
I put your logo back up so you could explain.
Oh, cool. Thanks.
You could see it while you were explaining it.
Awesome.
Nice.
So, we actually bought a few guns from you.
You have. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate that.
Actually,
You guys are great
I'm
clients.
addicted. It's my new shoe buying now.
Actually,
I think I can help you with that.
so Karen was buying a new gun from your company, and when I got there on Saturday, I was a little.
You looked a little tired.
Queasy.
I did look a little. So
A little peaked.
you got to tell that story how we became friends.
Sure. So what was really neat, I thought that you guys would appreciate seeing a bottle that I have. It's by a company called Ben Shot.
Right.
And it's a bourbon bottle that has a 50 caliber round embedded in the glass.
Yeah, sure.
And then I showed you the matching glasses that were with it.
Sure.
But I thought you looked a little bit out of
You
it.
did. You picked me out. You picked me out. You called me out. You did.
I did.
You're like,
Just
dude, are you okay? I'm like, not really.
And I jokingly said, how about a little hair of the dog? And you nodded yes. So I pulled out, and I think I pulled out the skull ice cubes too, didn't
You
I?
did.
He just
You did.
nodded. Was it like?
Oh yeah, he just kind of.
Was I kind of like this?
Yes, a lot. So it was great though. I
What show
poured
was
him a
that
little
after?
glass.
I don't remember, but we could go back and talk. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry, Mark. Go ahead.
Any one of them, I guess.
Well, and the bourbon I happen to have in there was Bullet bourbon. So nothing spectacular, but thought I'd pour you a little bit of that. And it's
did.
amazingly, after a glass or four, you picked right back up. It was amazing. But I try and say we're a full service company.
Absolutely.
We
Full
try and find ways to make sure our clients are happy. And if I've got to serve you a glass
Well,
of
it
bourbon,
definitely wasn't me buying the gun. It was my wife buying the gun. But that was awesome. Awesome. We came back and we bought another gun.
Yes, you did. Thank you very much.
We had a great time. And actually, if I remember correctly, shit, that's a friggin' long pour right there.
Oh boy, here we go.
So, just a public service announcement.
Listen, kids.
Drink the whiskey after you're done shooting.
Yes, please do. We don't mix the two.
Yes. No.
Cannot drink whiskey and handle a firearm. It's against the law, just so you all know. But anyway.
Absolutely.
So that I do know. But anyway.
On the
So
topic,
we came back. We bought another gun.
right?
Karen bought another gun, and I said, Mark, let's go to breakfast, man.
That was
and,
great.
We were probably 2 hours there.
Oh, at least.
And we had a great time. And what people don't know about you is all of the stuff of your knowledge of World War I, World War II, and all the stuff that you do. You're a big collector and all that stuff. So that's a whole thing. You told me some great stories, and
Greg's a big collector. I don't know if you've noticed.
I'm a big collector.
Yes, you are.
Thanks, Doug. So we had a great time. It was an instant connection.
It was fun. It was
I
great
was
forming a new friendship, and
we just thought we were going to go there, buy a gun, and go home. And you swept us, and it was a great time, and we had some great stories, and we had some emotional stories between the both of us.
Definitely.
And when it came to parents and war and the things that you've seen, the places you've been, you could write a book, man. You really could write a book, and you should. You really should.
The funny thing you mentioned, Emma, I think I might have mentioned to you, my sister is very creative.
Correct.
And
you did say
she
about that.
is a phenomenal photographer. And the last time I was telling you, when I was in Europe and toured some of the battlefields and things like that.
Amen.
And I asked her I actually commissioned her to put together a photo book. And the stuff that she's done for her safaris and other things that she's done, she did one for me for my trip to Pearl Harbor. These are, and I have no problem saying this, she is world class.
Amen.
Her photos are amazing, and she created a phenomenal book for me. So I actually commissioned her to do one on my Normandy trip.
Awesome.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's
Awesome.
it's going to be a couple grand. She's worth every penny of it.
Sure.
And it is going to be spectacular. I can't wait to see it. So
You gotta put it together, man.
oh, I can't wait. I'll be glad to share it with you guys next time we get together.
Wow,
So-
that sounds great.
So my next question to you is, how did you start drinking whiskey, man?
Yeah,
Well,
tell us about your love of whiskey.
my love of whiskey has started because of you guys. I knew
Here, wait a
nothing-
minute.
Okay.
Oh,
Wait a
no.
minute.
What did you say?
Wait a minute. You're stupid. Go ahead.
Hey, I've been called worse. it's all true. So I literally know nothing about whiskey. I used to bartend. I could serve it and I could tell people about it, but I never drank it.
He does a nice bottle twirling, but we just don't have the space to
That's it.
demonstrate here.
All right.
The little cocktail stuff from my
I was
younger
going to
days.
say, think Tom Cruise cocktail.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched that movie about 1,000 times to learn some of that stuff. And
Never learned a bit.
no, I'll tell you what, it works.
I'm just teasing you.
What was the name of that movie?
Cocktail.
Cocktails.
There you go.
Yeah, cocktails. Right.
But so I don't really know anything about it, but you guys really intrigued me. You came over, you talked about it, and both of you guys, and Karen, you too, and I'm like, wow, this is really, there's more to it than I thought. And then when we were sitting there talking, I watched the show a couple times, and I was like, wow, I think I really want to get into this. It was kind of neat. So thank you guys for turning me on to something new.
All right. Well,
Like I needed more alcohol in my life. Thank you.
Everybody needs more alcohol.
when you're staying home and drinking and not going to work, then give me a call.
Well, this is, and of course, the show is not about getting drunk. Of
No,
course,
I
but,
know.
But it's about appreciating whiskey, which is something we do. So
Getting drunk just happens sometimes.
sometimes it happens, but that's not the
That's
not
not our goal.
That's not the goal.
We like to taste and try different
Sometimes
things.
we get a little carried away in our zealousness, but
I just want to come clean.
dear.
I've had 4 doubles of vodka and cranberry, just so y'all know.
And that doesn't even count what you drank once you got home.
That's true.
well, okay.
But I'm still going to burn.
But you've not overdone it when it comes to whiskey.
No,
Okay.
of course not. What are you talking about?
He's got a show to do.
Sure, man. We're all
It's all
playing.
business.
It's all business right now.
You've got so clear conscience on that one.
Amen.
So
So,
I say though, a clear conscience.
go ahead. What do you say?
A clear conscience is usually a sign of a bad memory.
Amen.
That's true.
I'm looking at it right now. Just playing.
Karen,
Honey.
I know a good attorney.
Do you?
Oh shit. So
Okay, we're here to taste some whiskey.
we
though.
are here to
And
taste some
eventually,
whiskey. So
we need to get
we
back
got,
to the topic of
we have
whiskey,
we have
so-
anybody on the scroll? Anybody on the scroll?
Oh,
Let
we
me
have
go.
Before we move forward.
Patrick's here, Jennifer Boggs,
Okay.
Lindsay, Shauna, Cameron's here. I don't know if
G Money is here.
G Money, what's my
All
man?
right.
What's up, dog? I want G Money to do this show. G Money, you got to come do this.
Now
show.
there are people I know that there's lots of people there that do not comment, but those are the
sorry.
people commenting. We can say.
Is my black brother on?
No, well, if he is,
What?
he's not saying nothing.
What the hell's going on?
What the?
Friday.
Thank God for that.
Oh, there he is. Texas in the house.
What's
All
up,
right.
Texas in the house?
So, you keeping warm down there, Steve?
Yeah, Steve. How's it feel to be in Ohio and Texas? All right.
And
You know how the
Pat?
black people are. You all gotta. You can't even swim. You all want some. You want a scarf or something.
And Pat, did you do your usual Friday?
Oh, that's what I'm
It's
talking
in the
about.
hole.
It's in the
No.
hole.
Nick T is out there.
Nick, my brother Nick, what's up, dog? I was just thinking about you today. I had you on my mind, so we got to get together, man. I want you to do the show, and we have to get together. Maybe next Saturday, me and Miss Karen, we come out and visit you, and we go to breakfast. That would be great.
Kayla's feeling shafted because you didn't mention her.
Oh, I didn't see Kate.
Don't forget your
Oh, there
favorite
she is.
kid.
Wait, who's
Kayla
Kayla?
is here.
Who's Kayla?
Kayla, who is that?
Oh boy.
Kayla who? Just playing, kids. Just playing. Sorry. So anyway, this cigar is really
She
good.
plays an important part of every show.
Yeah,
She
she
does.
does.
She absolutely does.
Opens and closes every show.
Yeah, she does.
Steven said he's freezing his arse off.
Perfect. Listen, brother. You know the black people can't swim. You know you gotta start a fire or something. You know, warm yourself up. You know what I'm saying? What? What? That's my brother. I can say whatever I want to say to him. Huh? He knows.
You're on this whole swimming thing.
Yeah.
There's no swimming when it's like freezing down there.
Well, listen, Texas, everybody swims year round, but obviously right now you can't swim nowhere because everything's ice. All right, now I won't say my brother what happened to him, and I feel bad for him. What's happened in the last couple of
Oh,
days?
don't even say.
And I feel bad for you. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, black people can't swim. So anyway, so what do you got?
There's one thing
Message received.
one thing you learned in tonight's show.
Okay.
Steve just said LOL.
All right. So, what are we tasting tonight, Karen?
Come on, Karen.
We are
It's kind of a
tasting.
Scottish show tonight.
Do we need a bottle cam?
But
I think it's time for the bottle
I
cam.
think it is time for the bottle cam.
Bottle cam coming up as soon as
Come
my
on.
mouse works. There we
you
go.
go.
Hey everyone, it's time for the bottle cam. The bottle cam.
Little Balvenie Portwood.
Did you bring your gun? I might need you to go upstairs and shoot Georgia. But anyway, go ahead. Go ahead.
I can't. I'm
getting
consuming alcoholic
Right.
beverages.
Why you gotta
Right.
Why you gotta follow the law, man? Go.
It's my livelihood.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, kids.
Oh
I'm
my
sorry.
goodness gracious. So yeah, you want me to start talking about
Let's
it?
talk about Balvenie.
Is it Balvenie? I've been saying Balvenie. Maybe just because I'm saying ball.
Balvenie.
What about you
Balvenie.
gonna-
Yes.
Oh,
That's your
well.
cue to.
Well, that's my cue. Hey,
Oh
listen,
boy.
I got a little creak in my neck.
No one can see it when it's like that. You gotta-
Okay, well, let me put that right out there.
Sorry, try again.
Okay. Balvenie. The
Okay.
Balvenie.
Wait. I know that ain't no black person's lighter. I guarantee you that. Go ahead.
All right, dear. Moving on. Thank you, Doug.
Come on, brother. Stick up for me.
So, Balvenie?
Mm-hmm.
Balvenie. 21.
Anyways, so William Grant, he actually bought a field near Balvenie Castle. He drew up plans to make a distillery, and then they laid the foundation stone 1886. And then 1892, they started work to convert an 18th century mansion, which was called the Balvenie New House, into the distillery. It took 15 months to complete building, and then May 1893,
Wow.
the first distillation took
Wow.
place.
Wow.
1893.
Wow.
18, yeah,
It
you
was a
think
couple of months ago.
Yeah.
about in history what was going on at that time. It was pre-World War One.
Pre-World War One, yeah.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. It was pre-1900.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's fast.
There's no
You have-
Nancy
you have a
Pelosi's
ton-
back
I
there.
took a lot of history. Took a lot of history. Okay.
Anyway, so it's one of the 120 plus distilleries in Scotland, but it's only one of 7 with its own malting floor. So Doug and I were talking prior to the show, like, what is a malting floor?
Well, yeah, that do their own floor maltings, right? So
Manually doing
Yeah.
their floor malting.
the old
What is
old
that?
way.
What is that?
You want
What is
to
that? What is that?
talk
Well, I
about
mean,
Elaborate.
nowadays, most of the malting, so malting's the process of taking the barley and then you basically get it moist, and then you add a lot of air to it, and then it starts to germinate. In that process, it starts to add starts to create sugars and convert some of those starches in the grain to sugar, which is what you want when you go to do the mash process, because that sugar is all the stuff that's going to be converted in the mash process.
We're talking Scotch here, kids.
Yeah.
We're talking Scotch here.
So in the old days, everybody had a malting floor. They laid out all the grain. They got it damp. Then they took special tools and they continually think of just shoveling, turning that over and over and over. Finish one side, you go all the way back, you start all over again. You keep doing that throughout the whole process till it gets to a certain point. Then it goes into the kiln. You dry it and you stop that germination process. All those sugars are locked in. So that's kind of the basic process. But they still have their own floor malting. So that's, I mean,
Interesting.
there are other distilleries,
All these years later.
other Scottish single malt distilleries that do it, but there's not that many anymore. They just buy the grain already malted from a malting house.
Yeah, they said they were one of 7 that still
Okay,
have
that
their
makes-
own
that sounds
malting
about
floor.
right.
And if you think there's 120 plus distilleries in Scotland, that's very low percentages. So
So, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Sure.
So, I would assume that by doing it themselves, that's going to give them a little different flavor than everybody else because it's to their standards.
Correct.
Right.
So that's kind of neat.
Exactly.
That's got to give
It's-
them a unique flavor. I'm looking forward to trying
It's
this.
so they have there's a lot to it, and they keep track of all the details, right? They know the little nuances, right, of their malting floor, and they know how it reacts if the humidity is at a certain level. It gets very technical, but yeah, the bottom line is they can control it, and so that's what some distilleries like. They still want to have that control, not just take whatever shows up in the truck. So.
Awesome.
and not only they have their own malting floor, they're the only distillery that has all of the following 5 things on site, which is very rare because a lot of distilleries will, have their malted barley or their corn shipped in from somewhere else, but they grow their own barley, they malt their own barley, they have their on-site coopersmith, they have an on-site cooperage, and an on-site malt master, who is David Stewart.
Now, the only thing we haven't talked about is peat, so I don't know what they do there, but most of their whiskeys are not highly peated, so I'm not sure exactly what they do there, but
All right.
Interesting. David Stewart, I mentioned, who is their malt master. He's one of the industry's most experienced experts, and he began working with them in 1962. He's still there.
No shit.
So he's most famous for being the first to create the process that's known as wood finishing, where you take whiskey, you mature it in one type of cask, like an ex-bourbon barrel, and then you transfer it into a second cask, like a sherry or port or rum.
Sure. That's a port, I believe. The 21's a port, right?
this is a Portwood.
It is. It
Yes.
is.
We'll get to that.
Oh, sorry, kids.
No, that's good. I mean, but yeah, so that whole finishing process, of course, is now a staple of the Scottish industry. There's a lot of good single malts that are finished in some type of secondary cask. So.
Yep. They say it's thought to give greater depth and complexity to the final flavor because
Absolutely.
you've got those from the first cask, the first barrel, second barrel.
Just first barrel is usually a first fill ex-bourbon cask, right?
Right? Right.
For the main life of the aging, and then we go into some kind of a secondary finishing cask for usually 6 months to 2 years, something like that. So.
Very cool.
And
So, go ahead. I'm
Did you?
sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. So to create the Balvenie Portwood 21-year-old, they took a mix of the rare Balvenie and transferred it to port casks or pipes, which
Port
have
pipe
held.
is just a large. If you remember the Whiskey Wizard episode we did on that, it's a larger storage cask.
Single malt, right?
Yeah. Well, port pipe is port. It's a larger container though than a hogshead. It's a pretty big.
Oh,
Yeah.
I dated her
Several
in
hundred-
college. I dated her in college.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I'm sorry, you're killing me today. But many consider this to be David Stewart's finest creation. And it's won an array of awards since it was released in 1996.
Yeah, and what I like is it's aged for a full 21 years in its ex-bourbon cask, and then only after 21, because it has 21 on the label, of course we know that means that's the youngest that's in that bottle. So they age it a full 21 years, then it goes into its secondary port
So,
pipe.
let me ask you a dumb question.
Yeah.
Sure.
So we have the 21. Is that right? 21.
Yep.
What do we know what the next year age statement is or no?
Well, what other product they have and
Yeah,
what
yeah.
I don't really know.
I didn't know. I was just asking a dumb
I know
question. I was just asking.
maybe Cameron or Lauren, if they're out there. I know Cameron's there. Yeah, maybe they know the answer to that. But yeah, I'm not sure what other years that.
I know that
they have
we
a lot of
we-
different offerings, right? Different finishing.
We have the 12. We have the 14. We have the
14
17.
Caribbean
We have
cask
the
is another
21.
one we like. So.
What's next? That's just
That looks like, just by looking at their website, that looks like it's the highest age statement. They've got a double wood 17, a Caribbean cask 14, and a double wood 12.
We have all of those. Okay, awesome.
Okay.
What's wait? What's that? That's 17.
That double wood
Okay.
17?
Never mind.
So you had said that they did their first distilling in 1893.
Correct.
So does that mean that's when they first put it into an aging cask, and you had to wait?
No, I think that's probably when they first started the distillery up. So yeah, you would have had to wait some years later until you actually had any product. That's
That's an investment. That's
Well, you know
Yeah.
that's not common in bourbons, whiskeys, or scotches actually. So, go ahead. So
Good to know.
there-
It's not common or uncommon?
It's not uncommon. I'm sorry. Did I say not common?
I thought you said
Not
common,
uncommon.
Not
so,
uncommon, yeah.
So we go to this
Which is the
So it's
Dickel
12.
12.
sour mash.
so that's a
12-year.
bourbon for a 12-year-old
That's
bourbon. You know, usually a bourbon is
That's a
5-6
whiskey.
years old,
It's
whereas
a whiskey.
typical Scotch is.
So anybody that was
10 to
starting
12
up a
years.
distillery like this, they know that they've got to be in. They're invested in this for 10 years
So
before
usually-
they start to sell a drop.
Yeah, you can't.
So,
you just can't.
If
hurry
you're
the
having a
process.
year statement, so 21 years a year statement,
Mm-hmm.
21 years in the barrel, 10 years in a barrel, 12 years in a barrel. You know, so
To be considered a bourbon, it's supposed to be in the barrel for 4 years.
Oh,
but
wait.
you can have younger whiskeys.
wait a minute.
Gotcha.
New oak barrels are bourbon. Used oak barrels.
New oak charred
Used oak barrels are whiskeys.
for
So say that again.
Scotch. So bourbon is a whiskey. So whiskey is
Bur-
the overall
Well, okay.
generic name. But
No, I'm just saying that you know the difference between whiskeys and bourbons are
wait, bourbon is a whiskey. So
okay.
Bourbon is a
everything
whiskey.
Everything is a whiskey.
right.
Everything.
Not
is a whiskey.
every whiskey
You're
is a
meaning
bourbon.
single malt. Is that what you meant?
Well, I'm just talking on a whiskey, not Scotch. On a whiskey, whiskeys are aged in used barrels. Bourbons are aged in new oak
New oak.
barrels.
Right, absolutely.
Okay.
So bourbons are new barrels.
That are
Correct.
New oak. Yep.
Correct.
that
Correct.
are they're charred. So a new American
Yeah,
oak charred.
whatever their char is.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
Okay, well, Greg, to answer your question, they do have a 25 and a 50. So,
What's
so
that
Oh, they
25
do.
cost?
Okay.
I don't know. We'll have to check that out later.
They don't have it. No.
What?
No,
I want it.
no,
I
no,
want
no.
It. Yes. Yes. Let's move up. Let's get into the game.
Dang, that's a long time. Heck of folks are made. What does that say? Dang, that's a long time. Heck,
What?
the folks who make it may not live that long to try it.
I was just
You're
thinking
right,
that. I was
Dick.
just thinking that.
You know, there's a lot of distillers that talk about that whole thing. You know, they work on a project. You know, something's their baby, but you know, they're like, in my whole career, I only get to do 2 of these. You know, that's the kind of product that whiskey is. You know, they gain a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge, but you know, a lot of their babies, if you will, they only get to have 2 of them in their career. That's something special they create, get to see it all the way through to bottling, you know, and then do it again, and by that second time, a lot of the time that.
Well, I was going to
career is
say
done.
that's kind of interesting. So if you create something that has a unique flavor and it's a 20-year process, 21 years, and you really like it, you wouldn't start doing that again until you found out that everybody liked it.
Sure.
So that's really kind of an interesting fact about
It is.
the process for all this.
And that's it's one of the great things about whiskey, though, is that it takes that investment in time. Folks have tried different things to try to shortcut that process of aging, and you just can't do it. It takes time as much as it does the good ingredients to
It's experience in
to
life.
let all the magic happen inside that barrel. So
Absolutely.
okay,
Awesome.
I
right.
think, are we ready to taste this bad boy?
I don't know about tasting,
I gotta
but let's
been waiting
nose.
for. I've been to.
So
Mark, grab your.
I've been waiting anxiously for this
thank
for a
you.
while now.
Sir?
So I'm a little intrigued by this one because it is 94.4 proof, which is, for me, a Scotch is
for a Scotch,
very
right.
high in proof. I think they're usually in the 80 to 90 range.
Well, yeah, it's usually in the 40 to 48% ABV.
And this one is 47.6,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's up there.
All right.
Okay,
Let's get a
so
nose.
we're gonna
Let's get a
let's
nose.
do some nosing on this thing.
We're gonna nose.
Oh my god!
You okay?
So full disclosure, Greg did give me a little bit of this to try over Christmas, and I shared it with Cameron. So I have had it before,
Heavy.
but I tried to not pay too much attention to all the details because I knew we would do this again at some point. So.
Very heavy.
So
Wow.
right away, it's a lot darker than most Scotches that I've
Yeah,
been
that's that
exposed to.
long time in the barrel and the port finishing.
Oh gosh, it's fruity.
Very
I just
fruity.
get instantly like red apples. Like
I get apple out of it.
Yeah.
I get a little bit of hint of orange actually.
yes,
I
but
get the apple.
Fruit,
I don't
forward.
I don't scent the orange. I don't have that in there, but
Man, it's real fruity.
Oh my God.
I mean,
A
sometimes
little bit of honey, a little heather.
sometimes
Little
I
honey,
sit here
yeah.
and you guys talk about what you get on the nose, and I'm like, I can't. This is like an instant hit of fruit and
Now-
apple. It's like almost like a candy.
And it's very fresh.
So
fresh.
I sent you this bottle take home for you and Cameron over the holidays. I've never had it. And you know, I get I get a hint of vanilla. I get orange. I get a lot of fruit out of it. It's
Tons
the
of-
honey. I mean, I get a lot of stuff out of it. It's very good, very complex.
Yeah, honey, some heather,
Oof,
and
it's
just
beautiful.
a hint of that vanilla that you're going to get from
Yeah.
that long time in the bourbon cask.
I get cotton candy.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
so it's so fruity that it goes all the way to something like it's very
So, Mark-
aromatic, very aromatic, but in a
a good way.
Yeah, like when you open that bag of cotton candy, kind of that smell.
Yeah. Mark, I
It's,
know you're new to it, but
yeah.
are you pulling anything?
so I got the apple, and I think you said the word fresh, and it reminds me that it smells different than the other things I've sampled earlier.
Okay.
It has that a very fresh scent to me, and the apple very much stands out.
Sure,
so
it
very
does,
cool.
it
I don't
does.
get the orange or the vanilla, but I'm not sure that I have a refined enough
and-
experience with this to pick out the nuance like that.
Everybody's nose, everybody's palate is different.
Now,
There's
I
no
get-
wrong answer.
I do get just a hint of some peat there, and maybe
Not
little bit of nuts.
not ethanol-y at all.
I get a little
Right,
nuts, something
not
a little bit
ethanol at
nutty,
all.
not nut skins necessarily, but
Nutskins. Did you hear that, Jen?
Easy,
Nutskins.
son.
No,
Listen,
just
Jen,
We love
sit down,
nuts.
relax.
Nutskins. We need a Nutskins sound effect.
I do. I get orange out of it. I really do. I
You get
a lot of-
orange,
I
really?
do.
Yeah, I'm not
I get
getting,
citrus out of it.
Not getting any citrus here.
It's
but-
heavy. It's really
Yeah,
heavy.
but it's-
It's not light.
It makes, if I didn't know what it was, I would just be like, I'm gonna throw this down because
Yeah,
it's
you want to drink it, right? That's
oh
what
my
it does to
gosh.
me.
I'm
It's
like,
just
would you all shut up
Oh,
so I
come
can
on,
taste
let's
this?
do it.
Well, I gotta ask one more. Greg, you said it's heavy. Now, when I think about it, when
The
you were
legs.
doing
So-
this, the legs,
So
it
the
sticks
legs,
to the side of the
they
glass
do.
for a long
It sticks to
time.
the side of the glass for a long time.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
I saw
see,
that.
It's just starting now to release its legs. It's
Yeah.
a heavy
Yeah.
Scotch.
It's a
if you
nice
will.
baby.
It's beautiful.
And that's what you expect
and consistent
with
Very
something like
consistent.
this that's been in the cask a
I don't know
long
if you
time.
see that, Mark, or not.
Oh yeah,
It's-
absolutely.
and it's also been finished to boot. So I'm ready to.
You want me
taste
to?
it.
You want me to read the tasting
That's-
notes?
the
nose
nosing
notes
Okay,
from
let's see how we did.
from Balvenie. They say it's a perfume of fruity and ripe raisin notes.
Okay.
Raisin. I do
Okay.
see that.
Okay.
Backed by a nutty dryness.
Oh shit. I don't get the nuttiness.
Doug, he's always got nuts on his
Doug's
brain.
always got nuts on his chin.
Well, something's not on his
He
chin.
always has nuts on his chin. I don't know what it is, but anyway.
I just want to give a shout out to a name that we haven't seen in a while. Chris Snyder.
Chris Snyder. Where
Chris
you at,
Snyder.
dog?
He's
Where you
oh
been,
my
man?
God.
Christopher Britton Snyder. To what do we owe this incredible pleasure?
Nice.
And Phil Weaver popped some Johnny Blue
Phil,
last
cousin
Saturday.
Phil, all right.
Whoop, whoop. All right, so Jen says nut skins are delicious, and Chris Snyder
Easy,
said,
girl.
"Chris Snyder said I heard that." Anyway, are we going in, guys?
Yeah, let's
going in.
taste this.
get a little
bad
sip
boy.
out of it,
Gosh,
ready?
Darn.
Gosh, cotton candy. There's the scotch.
What a good mouthfeel.
Man, so light on the peat, man. Oh my goodness.
There's just a hint of peat.
So light.
Kind of get that peat in the middle. Definitely, I know this is Oloroso sherry.
It's I think it's a short it's not a long finish. I think it's a short finish in my personal opinion.
Not a long finish. I
Not
agree
a
with
long
you.
finish at all.
I'd say
a pretty
medium.
long finish.
I'd say medium range.
And then I get into the finish is dry and toasty, almost. It's
Nutty?
Like, no, more like toasted marshmallows. A little bit of toasted or what is the word? Creme brulee. When you burn the sugar, whatever. Anyway, but it's kind
Gotcha.
of a
Yeah, I
toasted,
gotcha.
Toasted sugar kind of.
It's nice. Very nice.
It's
Gosh, I love this.
it's very good, but it doesn't taste like it smells.
So how I got Balvenie, if you will. What do you call it? Doug, what do you call
What do
it?
you really call it?
Balvenie is what I say. Some
Alright,
people say
Balvenie.
Balvenie, but it's
Balvenie. So one of our friends who's a big Scotch guy got me. I was never a Scotch guy, and it was wintertime, and we were at the cigar lounge, and he had brought a bottle of Balvenie 17 year, which we've all had several times, and that got me started on scotches, so to say, outside the spectrum. Okay, and the 17 year is my favorite year, but the 21 year I think might have taken it over. So
yeah,
it's beautiful.
I'm
Absolutely
just
beautiful.
so far. I mean,
So I didn't taste any of the raisin. I'm not gonna lie to you, but maybe the aftertaste that I had, which was a different flavor, maybe that was the raisin that I was supposed to taste. I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, I could see me drinking this.
I think
With the cigar.
I see you
somewhere in the
drinking it
middle, I
too.
get the peat. I get a little, little black pepper, and then I get the fruit again, and ends with
Very good.
toasty marshmallow kind of. I just, it's a keeper.
So to our guests, what do you think between the nose and the taste? What do you think?
Well, I was gonna say I agree with you. It doesn't taste like I thought it would based on what I smelled, but it's really smooth. I don't feel it's not biting on my tongue.
It doesn't drink
burn.
like a normal Scotch.
It doesn't.
It really doesn't.
I mean,
drink like a
to
normal
me,
Scotch.
it's very smooth, very very tasty. I mean, it doesn't taste like I thought it would, but I think it's very good.
What did we pay for that bottle?
I think the suggested retail is about $200.
Yeah. My Karen bought that for me, but she didn't tell me how much it
No,
cost,
because
but-
you're like, don't buy that from me. And then I buy it, and he's like, look what I got.
And I love it.
I'm like, listen, Negro, look what I got right here. Yeah. So
Oh my gosh, that's so good.
it is very good, and
Oh,
I'm glad that. We did our Christmas show, and I gave you a couple things to take home to try, and we're gonna try the other Scotch and
Now
one of our future.
you let us also at the same time you let Cameron and I try the Glengoyne 12,
Correct.
and we've talked about this a little in the last show. I won't go into a lot of detail, but we did a tasting when I was out visiting him. He and Lauren and I bought 5 whiskeys, had him pick them up at the store.
Sure, I remember.
Lauren contributed a 5th one. We did a separate tasting of 5 different whiskeys. One was the Glengoyne 18.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Was it-
and that was because of the 12 you let me taste. I said, I got to try another one of these. So, anyway, each one of those will be a future show.
Absolutely.
And we'll feature them at different times during the course of this year.
Awesome.
But yeah, that was great. So, anyway, I think it's time to do our scoring. Why don't you go
well,
ahead?
let me
go
read you
ahead.
the tasting notes.
Oh, yeah,
from,
let's see
from
how we did.
Balvenie.
Let's see what
They
we-
said the taste is refined with remarkable character. It's creamy and silky with fruit, honey, and spice notes.
Amen. That's what I get on the palate.
Yeah.
On the palate, the finish is all honey.
The finish,
is
they just
all
say
honey.
it's long, gentle, and nutty.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think it's long. I don't get the nutty, but I get the ton of honey.
Yeah. Yeah.
For me, it's medium long. It's not
Good.
terribly long. but
Good
it's-
analogy.
Yeah.
Absolutely good analogy.
That's why I said like a medium finish, but
Like I said, you get that little bit of peat,
Little.
some black
It's so
pepper.
light, man.
Then
It's
you
so
smooth
light.
out, and you get all this honey, and then you get that kind of toasted marshmallow. for
just
me.
enough for you to know it's a Scotch.
It's a Scotch. I agree.
That's very nice. That's what I have to say. But how will I translate this to a score? I don't know. G, why don't you go first?
I'm gonna go with a 3.4.
3.4. Okay.
Really, I'm surprised.
It's very
that,
nice. I mean, I'm not big into scotches, and this surprised me. I did not have this. Again, as Doug knows, I sent this bottle home with him, and I was pleasantly surprised because I did not try it until today. So I'm going to stick to my score. It's very, very pleasing. If you have the money to buy, I would say buy that and drink it responsibly and slowly. So
Yeah, it's definitely something to be savored, if you ask me. So, yeah, very good. Okay, well, what's your?
he's 3-4. You're
Yeah.
is that your
3.4.
final answer?
that's my final answer.
So 3.4 for G. I'm the official record keeper here. So, all right, Karen, that brings it to you.
See, when I first nosed it, I was like really happy. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be off the charts for me. But the taste didn't match, so I'm gonna say that brings it down a little bit. But I'm gonna still give it a solid 3.9.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wow, Karen, you just nailed it for me. I'm going to give it. I think my scoring system is that if it's a 4, it's something that I need to have. It's something I want to have and own. So,
I'll sell you that rest of it.
well, as soon as we do the Whiskey Wizard, I plan to have a little bit more of it. But I would just put it in. It's just maybe shy of that. It's a bottle I want to have around frequently, not necessarily at all times. So I'm going to give it a 3.95.
Oh shit, kids!
3.95 for me.
All right.
Okay, that brings it to our guest, Mark. We kind of explained the scoring to Mark before the show. So
Yep, and
what do you come up with?
I kind of like what you said about it's a 4 if it's something I would have to have in my house. And I'm new to this, so I don't know what I would have to have yet. So I'm going to be a
Right.
3.8.
Very good.
Because it's to me, it's delicious. I could see myself sitting there watching a movie and sipping on this and enjoying it. But I don't have enough experience yet to say it's great or it's terrible. But I like how it tastes. So,
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. Everybody's palate's different.
Right, and it's, so I think, and I don't know how much single malt Scotch you've had prior to this, but I think this is also a great one. This is a great one to start somebody with because it's.
If you got the money,
I'd
that's
say $200 a bottle.
Yeah, no,
Maybe I don't
I'm not
start
saying
with
that,
that.
this is one that everybody
No, I
that
understand.
has never tried Scotch should go out and start with. But having said that, since it, if somebody has it and you're going to have it and share it with somebody, I think it's a good one to start.
Amen. Amen.
Yeah.
So Doug, if I can ask, because it's me, what region is this?
This is a Speyside.
It's a
It comes
Speyside.
from Dufftown, as if so. Chris and Pat, I don't know if Glenn is watching, but my high-low gang, we did a high-low trip and hiked the Speyside Trail, and we went right through and stayed one night in Dufftown. That was the night we all played guitars till late at night. The hiking was a little rough the next
You
day,
know how to play guitar?
but.
Just playing.
But it was, yeah. So Dufftown, there's a couple different distilleries there. We've also got Glenfiddich, and there's another one that's escaping my mind. Craigellachie's not too far away, but they're all concentrated there along the River Spey. So,
Awesome.
but Dufftown, yeah, it's a Speyside whiskey.
Yeah, I like these. I'm not big into the peatiness that I know you love that
Yeah,
kind of
and
stuff.
this is a good one if you're not really into peat. It's just got a little bit
It's
there.
beautiful.
It's enough there to tell me it's
Absolutely
a Scottish
beautiful.
whiskey, but it's not,
It's
not
a
too
who
much.
whiskey?
Yeah.
A who whiskey? A Scottish?
Scottish whiskey.
Scottish whiskey.
It's a malt.
Well, laddie, were you not paying attention to me now?
Were you not paying attention?
Not paying you.
Hey, no,
very
we'll
much.
have to have you back. You can do that accent when we were into Irish whiskey. Month.
Outstanding.
Oh, you got schooled. Oh, shit.
Ruh-roh.
Okay.
That's a little bit of an Irish accent.
So Lindsay says she's got to go. When are we getting to the Whiskey Wizard?
Oh, okay. Well, that is next.
That is
Everybody's
next.
done their scores.
All right, let's do
Mark,
it.
great job. I think you.
Thank you.
for
Yep,
your first
yep.
time in a tasting.
Awesome.
I think excellent job. So, yeah, it's time for the Whiskey Wizard, and that means it's while you guys are watching the Whiskey Wizard, which today is about the Scottish whiskey industry recap. I will be having a little bit more of
Scottish
this,
whiskey.
21 Portwood finished Balvenie.
All right, we'll see you. We'll see you in a few minutes.
About
kids.
5 minutes. Hang
Bye-bye.
tight. See ya.
Whiskey Wizard. It's the Whiskey Wizard.
Hello and welcome to the Whiskey Wizard, where we say that whiskey making takes scientific knowledge, an artisan's skill and dedication, and a bit of the wizard's alchemy of light, air, earth, and fire. Okay, so we're continuing our industry recap for the previous calendar year and trends for the coming year. But where last time we focused on American whiskey, tonight we'll take a look at the Scottish whiskey market. As we said last time, as whiskey fans, it's always a good idea to take a look at how the industry is doing and where it seems to be heading. 2020 was a very good year, again, for the whiskey industry, despite the global pandemic. Growth trends continued big time. Remember from last time that the global whiskey market is expected to rise from its estimated value of $5.76 billion in 2018 to an estimated $8.6 billion by 2026. To me, whiskey consumers have decided that premium whiskey is worth the spend and worth a growing chunk of their disposable income. Let's take a look at Scotch whiskey specifically. Even traditional Scotch drinkers are now saying things like, you should drink it however you want and not let anybody tell you otherwise. Let me tell you, that's a change from what I've observed. Even mixed drinks using Scotch are now becoming more common. Few spirit drinks have cultivated the almost religious reverence that Scotch whiskey has. For many of us, it's quite simply liquid Scotland. The drink is steeped in its history and culture. Scotch remains a booming export product that is still taking certain foreign markets by storm. In 2018, Scotch whiskey exports were worth 4.7 billion pounds or 6.2 billion US dollars in total, up nearly 8% from the previous year. Now more than 1 billion bottles of Scotch left the British Isles in 2020, and these sales made up to 70% of Scotland's food and drink exports and 21% of the UK as a whole. The dominance of the whiskey trade in Scotland's economy is an example of specialization. So far, this strategy has been very successful for Scotch. The Scottish whiskey industry may be more steeped in tradition and more resistant to change, but recently it seems to be more eager to attract a new, younger set of drinkers. One result of this is new releases of budget-friendly malt whiskeys promoted as accessible, easy, and enjoyable to drink for a beginner, while still retaining some degree of complexity. Consider Haig's Club's David Beckham campaign, for example. Also, we should note this trend in the new Discover selection from the revamped Gordon MacPhail range of private bottlings. We are seeing perhaps the beginning of a Scotch rye craze. As rye whiskey in the United States enjoys a boom, Scotch whiskey producers are beginning to experiment with rye whiskey in production and maturation. The Glenmorangie Speos was aged entirely in American rye whiskey casks, and some Johnnie Walker releases have also featured rye cask maturation. On the production side, a couple of distilleries are trying their hand at working with the finicky grain. Islay-based Bruichladdich began producing rye whiskey with grain grown there on the island. In 2020's festival in London, it was the first time ever that Scottish rye whiskey was available and on display. Micro-distillery trends have carried over to whiskeys across the Atlantic as well. They have been sprouting across Scotland, and they are just now beginning to release new products. Examples include the Fife distilleries of Eden Mill and Kingsbarns. Scotch distilleries are incorporating a more diverse range of casks outside of the traditional bourbon or sherry into their maturation. Captain's Reserve from Glenlivet may be the first Scotch to have a core range of bottlings involving cognac maturation. One other interesting experiment was the Glenfiddich Winter Storm, aged in Canadian ice wine casks made from French oak. It seems the staid Scottish distilleries are now more open to stand out and move away from what's been done in the past. This implies that the range of flavors found in Scottish whiskey will keep expanding in 2021 and beyond. And that is certainly something worth getting excited about, and perhaps worth a few drams to celebrate. We'll cover the Irish whiskey market soon when we kick off our traditional celebration of Irish whiskey on the Whiskey Roundtable. This is Douglas Dunbar, the Whiskey Wizard, for the Whiskey Roundtable. Cheers, Slàinte, and now back to the live show.
All right, gang.
Right.
Here's the
Wow, that was...
Whiskey Wizard.
Yeah. So, Scottish whiskey industry, like the American whiskey industry, is doing really well and hasn't missed too much of a beat due to the pandemic. And then soon we'll be finishing up with our discussion on the Irish whiskey industry. And then you can do your accent. We'll have you back to...
Well, thank you, laddie. Be glad to do that for you. I'll take you out back behind the woodshed while I'm there.
Oh my.
Oh my goodness.
So first of all, I'd like to apologize for the sound going into the Whiskey Wizard. I don't know. No one commented on it.
Somebody said LOL, so I have a feeling somebody heard that.
It's all good. But while you were away, your bobblehead got crazy.
Oh shit. Damn. Now y'all talking stupid.
I wouldn't throw our new guests under the bus on that. But
Why would you?
no,
It
What
was
did I have to do?
my
I don't know. I
idea.
think Karen must have.
It was
I
my
didn't see.
idea. Anyway. Anything you want to say to wrap up the Whiskey Wizard there?
No, just all the whiskey categories are doing very well, and we cover all the whiskey categories on this show. That's what we're about. We're not just a bourbon show,
Right.
although we lean that way. That's kind of how we started up through the Cleveland Bourbon Co-op as our main sponsor initially. But we're here to talk about all types of whiskey: Scottish and Irish and American. So, and as more and more, there's other whiskeys coming in from other parts of the world, in Japan, in parts of Asia, even India are now starting to market some from what I hear, some pretty good whiskeys. So,
Well, and one of my favorites is Kavalan, which
Yeah,
is
right, yeah.
what,
Correct.
Taiwan?
South Korea, Taiwan.
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 That's really good. I don't think we've done a
Bring it
Kavalan
down to
show.
our restaurant.
I've tasted that. I think you had me taste that, and that was really good.
Yeah, I do like
So we got some news now, right?
We
To
do.
close it up. G, do you want to go first?
I'll go first.
All right.
All right, so I'm reading off my phone. $95 million expansion at Brown-Forman's longtime Louisville distillery to meet growing American whiskey demands.
There we go.
Sweet.
The distillery expansion is in its longtime Louisville home, will double the capacity of the facility while remaining on the same parcels of land. Okay. Construction is to be expected to take more than 2 years to complete. The site located off of the Dixie Highway in Shively will be fully operational this period. So I don't know what that period is, but okay. The demand of the American whiskey worldwide as a result of craftsmanship and spaciousness of Kentucky's signature spirit, said Alex Alvarez, Chief Production Subsidy.
Alvarez?
Go ahead.
I don't know where you're.
Sorry, kids.
Where
I've
you?
had a few to drink before I got
Oh
here.
yeah, Alvarez. Yes.
Alvarez,
I
Chief
just took
Production.
Hey, Whiskey Wizard, I'm real proud of you.
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you. All right. This expansion will allow us to increase production, improve efficiency, and enhance the workspace.
Hey,
so that-
Charlie Brown, really? I have this
sorry.
football teed up. Would you like to try and give it a good kick?
Sorry, that was a misfire. I was just trying to move
Who
the.
do I need to kick?
Okay.
All right. Just checking. All right. Efficiency and enhanced workspace so that we can continue bringing whiskey made right here in Louisville, Kentucky to the world. Brown-Forman's premium bourbons have enjoyed exceptional growth over the last decade, with reported net sales of 18% in the first half of the company's current official year. The estimated 95 million investments include doubling the number of fermenters, adding column still capacity and mash cookers, improving the grain and by product systems, improving the on-site traffic for safety, creating green space for a tree nursery, and monopolizing the workspace, including a new break room, locker rooms, and wellness space. As a part of the production expansion at longtime Louisville located distillery, Old Forester will
Where is this located at?
Louisville.
I can't stop laughing. I don't know why I'm laughing.
Is this in Kentucky?
No, it's
Louisville, Ohio.
in Louisville, Ohio.
And they
Louisville, Kentucky.
sounds
kid.
yeah okay.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing. I don't even know why I'm laughing.
Y'all want to do the news?
No.
No, that's good.
I had a few drinks before I got here.
No.
Where was I part? Where was
But it sounds like they improved just about everything you could possibly improve.
Amen.
Yeah.
For $95 million. Come
That's
on
That's a
now.
lot. Yeah.
Okay. That's it.
So,
I'll leave it alone.
so
No,
Brown
it's good.
Forster, though, they,
Brown Foreman.
Brown Foreman. I'm sorry, Forster.
Old Forester is
Old Forster.
one of
I
the-
know.
yeah.
See, I'm. They do. What are some of their most popular?
Of course, Old Forester. One other, they own it. Brown-Forman is like one of the top 3, so they probably. I don't. Do you know what else they own?
I'm looking them up
I
right
don't.
now.
They own a lot of different
Brands. They have Jack Daniels,
Very-
Woodford Reserve. Ooh, Herradura. My
Yeah.
tequila.
Oh, right.
Tequila.
Cooper's Craft. Let's see. Tequila. They do Finlandia vodka. Chambord. They do wines and gins. Oh, they're all over the place.
Amen.
So yeah, hopefully good things to come from some nice whiskeys there.
Amen.
So Blue Note Bourbon, that's the one that we've talked about in the past. That's out of Memphis. The Blue Note Bourbon, the Riverset Rye, they both won 5 gold medals at the 2020 Micro Liquor Spirit Awards. So pretty impressive. And I think their Blue Note 10-year won a double gold. So that's one of the newer distilleries. They seem to be making some noise in the bourbon market. So American whiskey market. Virginia Distillery also came out with a port cask finished whiskey, and this is a American single malt. So we talked about, when we did the Wizard on the American whiskey industry, single malts is becoming a growing new category for American whiskeys. So, so far not a big fan personally,
Okay.
but I'm always open to continuing to be convinced, I guess, if you will. But the Virginia Distillery Company's port cask finished whiskey also won a gold medal. So at different competition, but there was something here. Dr. Jim Swan's batch of courage and conviction. So Dr. Jim Swan is a big name in whiskey. In time for winter storms, Catoctin Creek puts out the Rabble Rouser 2021. Right?
Okay.
So
Say
We
that-
haven't done
just
Kentucky.
released this on 15th.
I'm
So,
sorry, can you rewind that? What was the beginning about Catoctin Creek?
in time for the winter storms,
Okay.
they put out their Rabble Rouser 2021.
So we have that. We have not touched
Oh, you
on
have that? Oh,
I have a
nice.
lot of Catoctin Creek.
You have the Rabble Rouser?
I think I do.
Wow, that's
I have the.
Hey, Big G, that's really quite damn impressive.
keep your eyes peeled for. Maybe we talked about this. I think you talked about it last week with the ultra rare Eagle Rare, right?
Yep.
The 20-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So it's worth mentioning again because it's double
Absolutely.
Eagle Rare. So mentioning it again makes sense.
$2,500 a bottle. Go ahead.
Yeah, so pick that up, everybody. And Chattanooga whiskey, and I talked about that. I had gifted a couple of bottles from one of Kayla's good friends, and I think we have one here, and then I've got one unopened at home.
What's
But
that?
They came
What's
out
that?
with
Chattanooga?
Chattanooga. They're out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Yeah. Experimental batch 107 finished an apricot brandy barrel finish, so that's kind of
Nice.
unique.
Nice.
So that's just coming out, and Bal Blair 15-year-old single malt has just been released. So getting good reviews in the Scottish whiskey world. Has a notes of raisin, dusty malt, cookie dough, and red apples. So maybe not too unlike that. Port Charlotte 10-year-old has just been released. So again, from one of my favorite areas, Isla Scottish whiskies, and that sounds very good. Lots of heather, sea spray, caramel fudge, and ashy smoke. Well, you're going to have ashy smoke. It's an Isla.
That is a very unique mixture. Caramel
is,
fudge and sea smoke.
Well, that's one of the things I love about Isla whiskeys is they have that combination of the peaty smokiness, sometimes the briny, oceanic kind of quality. Then there's this underlying sweetness that kind of just makes it all work.
So
Very
So I
interesting.
go back to when you talk about that stuff. I go back to Maker's Mark. So all of the things that Maker's Mark has put out about chocolate and marshmallow and all that stuff. It's I'm a fan of Maker's Mark. So I remember.
I don't like the standard offering. It's too. There's something cloying and sweet about it to me. But the others, the 46 and other things I've had.
Maker's Mark 46. If you want, if you want to try a Maker's Mark 46, is very. I want to say it's about $30 a bottle, give or take.
And it's a weeded bourbon.
It's a weeded, and if you ever want to buy a Maker's Mark 46, I think anybody that even as an entry level of drinking bourbons or whiskeys, that's something that you want to have on your shelf for sure.
Absolutely. All right, so we're kind of getting to the end. We have.
What we got on the scroll, kids?
A lot of talk about the Whiskey Wizard. Jen Bogg says the Maker's Wood Staves are so delicious.
Oh yeah.
Thank you. And they are, and I have them all. Believe it or not, both. I have both the winter and the fall, if you will, which accumulates to about 12 bottles, different bottles.
Wow.
So, a lot of talk about the Whiskey Wizard, F the tariffs, bring the tariffs down. Ooh, you've
That
got...
must have been Lauren.
Yes.
Okay.
See? I just let you go with
I'm
that.
with you, Lauren, yeah.
Uh,
And the tariffs. At least on whiskey. Let's make sure that, whiskey shouldn't have any kind of trade encumbrances. So I want to thank everybody for watching. If you're with us here live or watching us later on, we'll see you again next Friday. What is that? What is next Friday?
26th.
What is-
26th.
Thank you. Yes.
At our customary 7:30, and we have
We're going to
good-
do Peerless
we're going to be
Rye.
doing the Peerless Rye. Yes, one of my contributions that I'm excited. I've never tried it yet, and
I don't
looking
think I have
forward
either.
to it. I like what Peerless does and how they go about the process of doing their mash and distillation. So, and we'll talk about that next time.
Absolutely.
Don't forget to subscribe on your YouTube page if you haven't done that already, or follow us on Facebook. If you have any questions or comments, or you want to be a guest on the show, you can comment on Facebook or email us directly at thewhiskeyroundtable@gmail.com. Closing quote.
Sir.
So, this comes from the renowned American actress and singer, Ava Gardner, who said, "I wish to live to be 150 years old, but the day I die, I wish it to be with a cigarette in one hand and a glass of whiskey in the other."
Atta girl.
Amen.
Now, I would just change that to a cigar in one. Well, if I smoked cigars, but cigar in one
Big
hand.
G would
glass
take a
of whiskey.
cigar.
There we go.
All right. So go ahead.
I was going to say, before we close, I just would like to ask Mark if he's got any closing comments or anything he'd like to share.
I don't have a closing quote, but I'll tell you what, I really enjoyed this, guys. Thank you for letting me come on the show.
Thank you.
This was fantastic.
Great having you.
learned a
Really
lot.
appreciate it.
And I can't wait to continue watching later episodes because I really am learning a lot, and I'm enjoying this quite a bit. So thank you guys very much.
Yeah.
Give us your company
Thank you.
one more time.
Rawhide Firearms.
Rawhide Firearms.
All right.
Check them out.
Let's do
Thank you, guys.
the logo one more time. There you go.
All right.
Right.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
All right.
All right, guys. You think we're done? You
We're
have
done.
any closing words of wisdom?
I'm drunk. I don't want to.
Well, let's sign off then.
All right.
Let's get out of here.
And we are done. So
All right.
thank you for joining us tonight. You usually send us off.
All right. We are your hosts, Big G
Karen Helen Keller.
Doug Dunbar,
and.
tonight's special guest.
Mark Nicastro.
All right.
Right.
Known as Nick.
We'll catch you cats next week. I
Nick
appreciate you
DeMarco.
watching the show, and stay warm. And we'll see you next Friday.
Be
Thanks,
safe,
everyone. Bye-bye.
All right. See you later.
If whiskey stopped working, every bar in town would be closing their doors, shutting down. Everybody would be trapped with their thoughts, 'cause nothing numbs the pain like bourbon or scotch. Oh no, oh no, no. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably wasting lots of money trying therapy. If whiskey stopped working, 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 if whiskey stopped. Poor Jack D would be out of a job. Jameson and Bean would be cut off. Hank Williams songs wouldn't make any sense. Yeah, this whole damn world would be a mess. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably wasting lots of money trying therapy. If whiskey stopped working, what the hell would I do? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be over you. If whiskey stopped working, 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 where the hell would I be? Probably halfway out of this town, leaving Tennessee.